Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for taking the time to hop on.
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to episode 207 of the Ballistic. I'm here with Ethan Burrows from Adrian College, and I'm excited to have him share his story of how he got to where he is today and much more. So, welcome.
Thank you.
How did your recruiting process start?
So back when I graduated high school in 2023, um, I didn't really have much of recruiting until my senior year. After the season kind of ended is when it picked up. I kind of finally came to the realization of I can play college ball and um right around probably the new year going into 2023, my recruiting started to pick. um I started to kind of get recruited to some D3, some NAI, a couple D2 schools. I took a lot of visits. I tried to make the most out of all of the opportunities, see what was the best fit for me. And ultimately, I think it was about the middle of February, I ended up deciding to commit to Concordia University, Ann Arbor, which is an NAI school in Michigan.
Mhm. How did your football experience go back in high school?
Um, I back in high school, I kind of played a little bit of everything. I was offense, defense. I played receiver, tight end, outside linebacker, safety. So I kind of got a feel of every aspect of the game, and ultimately, kind of my heart was with safety. But I enjoyed playing offense. I enjoyed doing whatever it was on defense that I could do to kind of help the team in whatever aspect it was, depending on the scout and whatever team we were playing.
Mhm.
But, ultimately safety was that was kind of my thing and what I, fell in love with.
Mhm. Uh, Tell me a little about growing up in your hometown and how you became the athlete you are today.
Yeah. So, um, I grew up in a pretty small city in Michigan, called, Essexville. There's some bigger cities around it, Bay City and Saginaw, but kind of the small town environment I was in, everyone kind of knows you. And I think that kind of played a big factor, especially into like athletics, is with the small town environment, everyone kind of comes out to the game. All the kids come out, and they they know you. You're kind of the star. You're the one that they want to go watch, and that's who they want to be in the future. So it was really cool kind of growing up, especially with that small town environment and kind of being the athlete I was. It was really cool to kind of be kind of that person that people looked up to. And I think it really made me appreciate going to play college football and being the athlete I was. It made me appreciate it a lot more, especially the people that look up to me and see what I'm doing in college and even in high school. And I think it really helps, especially when you come home. And if I can come home during season and stuff, people will come talk to me and just kind of see how everything's going, because they kind of all know you. So it really helped help me become more of like a better person, but also a better athlete, because I saw it from a whole different perspective than someone who, like, a school that sends out 50 to 100 college athletes a year. That just wasn't really the case where I grew up.
Mhm. Uh, was Adrian your first choice, or did you have any other colleges that you were looking at?
So out of high school, they were one of my top choices. But I really fell in love with Concordia, and it was a really hard decision, but then ultimately after 2 years there, they shut down their athletics. So I was looking for a new school to transfer to, and I was really serious about Adrian. They brought in a new coaching staff, which I kind of had connections to. I knew a couple of the coaches already previously. So it gave me a good opportunity, and that was kind of my number one choice, and that was a place that I really looked at. And then when they finally kind of reached out and I got to visit there again and kind of talk to a lot of the people that were there and then the coaches and stuff, it's where I fell in love with. I kind of knew it was the place that I wanted to be, and ultimately I pretty much made my decision on the spot after I visited there that that's where I wanted to be. But I kind of left my recruiting open for a little bit just to kind of test the waters, feel it out, see what I could kind of get, just because it was kind of a quick turnaround. I was kind of looking for something new right after our season ended.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my number one choice. It was a pretty easy decision, to be honest.
What type of conference are you guys in?
Our conference it's really weird because kind of what I'm used to is, you have like the top teams, and then you kind of have the middle teams, and then you have the bottom teams. And the thing with the conference we're in, the MIAA, it's a lot different in the aspect of, like, you always have the top couple teams, but there's no really bottom team in it. Everyone everyone can compete and play a close game and everything, and every team has really good athletes, really good coaches. So it's you can't really play down to a team or anything because they'll come out and hit you in the mouth. And I think that that's a big difference of something that I wasn't really used to, is all those teams can compete, all those teams can beat you, and you can't take anyone lightly.
Mm-hmm. What is your biggest strength and weakness on the football field?
I think one of my biggest strengths is, I think a lot of it is just like in the game plan and stuff. I like to pick up tendencies. I like to kind of see what teams are doing, what in certain formations, whatever they're kind of doing. And I think that's kind of where one of like my biggest strength is I kind of realize what they're trying to do, who they're trying to beat on every single play. And I can kind of pick up on that. But I'd say probably my biggest weakness is also just like, at some points I maybe rely too much on my brain and not as much of like my athleticism and everything else, where I try and be in the right spot, but then I'm not. And then, I have to try and make some crazy play because my brain got in the way a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on how this past season went for you?
I think this past season was great for me, individually. I got All-American, I got All-Conference. I think it was a really good year. I think I really came out and showed kind of the teams that we played what I can do. But, obviously as a team, I want to go win the conference. I want to go win a national championship, individual success is awesome. And, I feel good about what I did, but, ultimately I want to go out. I want to win the conference. I want to go compete for a national championship. I mean, that's the big goal. Individual success can only get you so far. Yeah, that's the big goal. I want to do it for myself. I want to do it for my team. I want to do it for my coaches. I want to help lead us to that, but that's ultimately the big goal. I mean, I got my, All-American and stuff now, and if I got it again, that would be awesome. But yeah, I want to go out and win a conference. I want to go out and compete for a national championship.
Mm-hmm. What are some cool things to know about yourself outside of football?
I think some cool things about me, just living in kind of a small town and everything. I live right on the Saginaw Bay, so I really like to go like hunting, fishing. I like to be outdoors. Um, I like riding four-wheelers, dirt bikes. Just I like being outside. Um, I I love playing with my brother's puppy when I'm home. I like visiting my girlfriend. I don't like to be in the house a whole lot. Every once in a while I like to play video games and stuff, but I like to keep busy. That's
Mhm.
kind of the biggest thing. I love to travel. I don't get a lot of time to do it, but when I get some free time, I do like to, take some road trips and
Mhm.
travel and, do as much as I can when I'm home and I have the time off.
Mhm. Do you follow any other sports on TV?
Yeah, I'm a big baseball fan. I like college basketball. I'm not a huge like NBA person.
Mhm.
Um, One of my friends races dirt bikes, so I've kind of started to get into like motocross and some of that kind of stuff. I love UFC. I try and watch like every fight if I can. So I really enjoy watching sports, following sports. It's just something to do, hang out with my friends and, throw on UFC or whatever and just have
Mhm.
fun.
What college basketball and baseball team do you like?
So college basketball, I'm a Michigan State fan. Um, Baseball, I'm a Tigers fan. So yeah, I'm a Michigan guy. I have some family from Minnesota, so I kind of not so really root for Minnesota, but I'm a Tigers and Pistons and every Lions fan, so
Mhm.
I can't really be a fan of Minnesota, but I always hope they do well. So
Do you follow Michigan State football?
yeah, yeah, I'm a big Michigan State guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not always the best thing, but
Mhm.
gotta stay loyal. They're my team, so
I got a college friend that's a big Michigan State fan, but somehow he turned into a Florida Gator fan because of how bad Michigan State was doing.
yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I've never switched up, but sometimes it's really depressing to be a Michigan State fan, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, what current or former NFL player do you compare your game to?
Um, I don't know if I really like compare my game to anyone, but one person or I guess two players that I really like I love watching like Brian Dawkins highlights. I never really, watched him or anything, but seeing highlights and stuff of him, I really like Brian Dawkins. And then currently Brian Branch. I watched him throughout college and now on the Lions. I just really like the way he plays and he's probably my favorite player in the NFL. So yeah, probably Brian Branch, I guess.
Hmm. Uh, what makes you a unique player on the football field?
I think just kind of the way I play. I would say, I'm not necessarily the most athletic person on the field. I'm not, I would just say like, bringing like the mental aspect into it, bringing like, kind of knowing what teams are doing and I think I get put in a good spot a lot of times especially by the coaches and stuff. Knowing kind of what coverage is but also me myself then kind of reading what the offense is doing. So I would just say kind of like the knowing where to be, when to be there kind of thing. I think it puts me in a really good spot for, interceptions, big hits. I mean, that's kind of my thing is, I want to either catch it or make sure that they're not going to catch it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would say just kind of trying to be in the right spot at the right time.
Hmm. What has been your favorite memory so far, Adrian?
I would say this past year, my favorite memory was definitely beating Valparaiso. Going into it, everyone was kind of like, oh, D1 FCS team. And, we were all kind of like, oh, we don't know how this is going to go. And then, we watched film and everything, and we were really confident in ourselves. We were like, wow, we can go out and beat this team. And, to go into that game, and I'm pretty sure we forced like 5 or 6 turnovers. And, our offense was kind of striking out a little bit, but our defense, we were on them the whole time. We were like, hey, we're going to pick you guys up. We're going to pick you guys up. And I mean, they didn't score until the last like 2 minutes of the game, and we were up 3-0. So then we went down 7-3, and our offense went down and scored. So it was 10-7. And then with like 45 seconds left, I had a game sealing interception, and we finished the game 10-7. I mean, to beat a D1 team by 3 points, it doesn't seem like a lot or anything, but to us, I mean, that's what created such a good season for us. We started off on such a big high that, we went out and beat this team, and it just carried over. So, it was one moment, but it turned our season into, so much more, because we were so much more confident in ourselves, because we knew we could compete with any team.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite memory back in high school?
Back in high school, there were a lot of good memories, to be honest. I had a teammate go play at MSU, so one of our big games against, we considered it one of our rivals, but they kind of, beat up on us, but we always played them tough. But we got to play on Bally Sports Detroit, and so we were on TV, and, that was a really cool game. I mean, we kind of got killed, but it was really cool just to kind of, be televised, and for people to kind of see that, small schools can do it too. So that was really cool to kind of, get our first taste of playing in front of more of an audience and a crowd than just, our fans and the other team's fans. So that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. What division is Adrian?
We're Division 3.
Oh, okay. I actually went to a D3 school also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to TCNJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for after the season?
Honestly, I'm not totally sure. I've talked to some of my coaches and stuff, and, they kind of tell me, you can do something after this for sure, like go play pro or whatever. And, the door's not shut, obviously, on that idea. It's kind of hard to kind of tell, because you can't really see, it's not like you're seeing offers or anything. So, for right now, it's just kind of a thought, but I'm majoring in criminal justice. So, hopefully I'll have a job lined up if, nothing comes of it. But, if something comes and I can, keep playing football, I would love to do that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks again for taking some time out of your night to come on and talk about your story of how you got to where you're at. And I'll definitely stay in touch with you throughout the season this year, and just enjoy the journey. And hopefully you'll hear your name called someday, and I'll be supporting you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.